All right, this is 3.5, part 2, point slope form. We've got example 4 here. 2 points given. So we want to write the point slope form of the line that contains the points 2 comma 5 and 0 comma negative 7. So first of all, the point slope form. So point slope form, hopefully you're getting more comfortable with that. That is this right here. So that is the point slope form. We want to write the line that goes through these 2 points in point slope form. So if you remember, for point slope form, we need a point and we need the slope. So here is one point, here is the other point. So we can use either one of those points, but we do need the slope. Since we're not given the slope, we can use the slope formula to find the slope. So again, I would strongly encourage you to go ahead and start making note cards of different formulas and different forms and different definitions. This is the slope formula. So again, on one side of the note card I would write slope formula. On the other side I would write out what the slope formula looks like symbolically, which is right here. Okay, and then quiz yourself to see if you actually have memorized that or not. Okay, so y1 is negative 11 minus, y2 is negative 11 minus y1 is 5 all over x2, which is 0, minus x1, which is 2. Negative 11 minus 5 is negative 16. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. So my slope, after I simplify, becomes 8. Okay. So now I have a point and I have the slope. So I'm going to do the point slope form using the first point. So when I do that, I get y minus y1, which is 5, equals m, which is 8, times x minus x1, which is 2. There is the slope, point slope form with the first point. Let's do the same thing, but this time use the second point. Slope would be the same. So second point, let's do y minus y2. Okay, so instead of y1, we're going to use y2. This could be these x1, y1, this could be x2, y2, x3, y3. It could be any point. Okay. So this is going to be negative 11 equals m, which is 8, times x minus 0. And that would be point slope form for the second point there. There is problem 4. Again, what I so strongly suggest that you do, pause these problems in the beginning before I start them, see if you can solve them, and then afterwards check to see if you did them the way that I did them, or at least got the correct answer. Alright, I think this should be a division sign there. I'm guessing. Okay, example 5. Reading information from the point slope form. State the point and the slope indicated in the point slope form. So this is already in point slope form. Okay, point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, so plus 2 relates with negative y1. Alright, so I can rewrite this as y minus -2, right? So then -2 is equal to y1. So y1 is equal to -2. M is pretty straightforward. M is 3/5. And x1 is straightforward because you got the minus sign there, so that lines up. So x1 is simply just 7. So my point is 7 comma -2. My slope is 3 comma 5. And we're finished. Okay. Next problem. Okay. So, example 6, modeling using point slope form. So the problem here, the value of a certain piece of equipment purchased in 1995 depreciates linearly over time. At the start of the year 1999, the equipment's, should be apostrophe, value was $13,245. At the start of the year 2006, its value was $11,726. Determine the equation that represents dollar value D at the start of year T. Let the equation, or for the equation, let T be the independent variable and D be the dependent variable. So we've got T comma D. That's my ordered pair. Okay, T is my input, D is my output. Okay, since we've been working with point slope form, we're going to stick with that. So we know this is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay? But it's really going to look like this. It's going to look like T minus, or I'm sorry, D minus D1 equals M times T minus T1. Because our X, our inputs are now T's, and our outputs are now D's, dollar amount. So, okay, now we need to look at our information and see what we're given. So, this sentence here, we can represent that as our first ordered pair. So we're going to say the time, 1999, and the dollar amount that goes with that time is $13,245. Our second point is right here, and that's going to be written as 2006, and the dollar amount that's going to go with that is going to be $11,726. Okay, so now we know how to use this information. We know how to use two ordered pairs and come up with any equation of a line in point slope form, which is right here. Alright, so let's take these ordered pairs. Okay, we do not have the slope, so we got to use the slope formula. Which is this guy, y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So the one in red, we'll call this the first point, x1, y1. The one in blue, we'll call this x2, y2. So y2 is 11,726 and y1 is 13,245. X2 is 2006. X1 is 1999. 2006 minus 1999 is 7. And for my y values here, I'm going to use my calculator. And when I subtract, I get negative 1,519. When I divide 1,519 by 7, I get negative 2,000, or I'm sorry, negative 217. So that is my m. That's my slope. So now I've got my slope. I've got 2 points here. I can write this in point slope form. So let's use the first point first and see what we get. Okay. First point. So if I use the first point, it's going to be d minus d1. I guess I should, instead of saying all of these is x1, y1, I should have made this like d2 minus d1, and I should have made this x2 or t2 minus t1. Well, that's okay. This value here is really d1. This is really t1. This is really t2, and this is really d2. So this is going to be d minus d1, which is 13,245, equals m, which is negative 217, times t minus t1, which is 1999. So that is the point slope form of the line using the first point. Let's take a look at the second point. Okay, second point, you're going to use d minus d2, which is 11,726, equals m, which is negative 217, times t minus t2, which is 2006. That would be point slope form for the second point. Okay? So we've answered that question. Let's see, I think we got a couple more questions here, but I'm running out of time for this particular video, so I'm going to pause this one, and then I'm going to make another video for this as well.